So the Eternal European is a good meme. The Eternal Brit, whole other time. But
Yeah.
the Europeans have been doing something.
Oh, really?
Which is they have taken notice that, hang on a minute, we're kind of being invaded, aren't we? Maybe we should do something about that.
You only think that because it really looks that way.
Yeah. I mean, we've had our own problems with illegal invasions in the United Kingdom, and that's a story for another time. But today we're going to talk about the Europeans who have discovered something, and half of them are divided on what to do. And I think that's the really funny part.
Before we go on, have you when you walk past the hotel where the illegal invaders are housed at our expense, you notice there are all these bikes.
Yeah.
Notice that the bikes have all got rust on them.
Yeah.
How long have these people been here?
Yeah.
So you've got an old rusty bike with tires that are worn out. Where did you get that from?
Josh was in Bristol yesterday and told me he saw one of them, like, because we walk past so often, we recognize them by face now.
Yeah.
He saw one of them in an upscale cafe, and he's just like, "What?"
Anyway,
sightseeing.
Just saying.
There was an epidemic of
cyclists.
bike part thefts all around Reading.
Oh, really?
I used to go to. Yeah, you just see them, the actual frame just chained up to the thing where they've nicked the handlebars and the wheels. And
But no, we've always been
Anyway.
told that illegal immigration, especially when it's forcefully made against us, is a good thing because Mama Merkel said so. And you can see here, you can go and learn more about that by going check out Contemplations Understanding Europeans and their politics.
This is something Americans definitely need.
It's,
You don't understand.
They went a bit nuts, especially in the 2010s. And thankfully, that seems to be fixing itself, at least in Germany. And good luck to the AfD. We're all rooting for you. But anyway, the news is that there's something was taken notice of. This is the island of Lampedusa. Now,
I've never even
Lampedusa,
heard of Lampedusa.
it's the most southern Italian island. Yeah, I think it's closer to Libya than it is actually to Sicily.
Right.
I might be wrong about that, but it's very, very off the shore, is my point. And it is the first point of contact for anyone who wants to break into Europe from North Africa.
Right.
And the great part is you don't even have to build your crappy vessel to go the whole journey. If you take it about halfway, the Europeans will come and pick you up.
Oh, just like we do with the Channel migrants.
So the same situation, but this time on the borders of Europe, the EU. And of course, this
I like that it's a German accent, not an Italian accent.
The Italians don't run anything. Well, we'll see that firsthand in a minute.
well, I like that this man is so desperate to flee war that he took time to dye himself into a Zuma haircut.
Well, he wants to integrate, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you for your service, we're good to begin there. Anyway, so this
Bless
chap here, they're breaking in, and this has been going on since, I think, 2010 at least. I remember Douglas Murray, he went to Lampedusa during the migrant crisis of 2016 and just talked about how horrific it is. And people have woken up, this blew up on Twitter for some reason. They're like, oh my God, have you seen what's happening? And it's like, yeah, 10 years
Yeah, it's not new.
going on. So the Visegrad are writing here, these thousands of migrants have decided they're going to break out of their temporary asylum center and are now building roadblocks to protest the authorities and demand that they be sent to the mainland of Europe immediately. Which, okay, you have been. If you literally just wait 5
Aren't
minutes.
we running an evil empire? Why can't we ever see that?
And we could see more of this. This is the other footage
yeah,
that went viral, which is just lawlessness. You can see them
Mostly peaceful migrant riots.
punching the police, generally being
I can't help
doctors
but
and
notice
engineers.
that every single migrant we've seen so far is an adult male.
Yeah, that's another feature of Lampedusa's friends. You can see them fighting each other there. Anyway, that's
Oh, yeah.
fun.
There is a woman there. There's one woman.
That might be a local Lampedusian.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because there is a population there of a few thousand who have to deal with this every day for the last 10 years. They're a bit miffed.
Yeah, no kidding.
You can see more here. So David says here, the
Okay.
doctors, engineers, and lawyers are desperate to visit library, I'm sure. Broke out the compound there. There's some more footage fighting with the riot police because
Why would an island, a tiny Italian island, that has a population of around 6,000 natives, need riot police? Like the very nature that they have riot police there is just mad.
because literally thousands of people turn up
Yeah.
every day. I think it's like 7,000 a day
Yeah.
turn up on Lampedusa now. So that's more than the island's population every single day. And that's been going on for a decade. So this is their mayor who gave a pretty good speech. And he says in here,
Refugees piss off.
he says,
I
refugees
can read the Italian.
are not welcome. Lampedusa must be free.
Oh, yeah.
That's great
Yeah,
framing,
yeah, yeah.
because that's correct too.
Yeah.
We want to live from tourism and fishing, nothing more.
That's really not a big ask.
Italian dream.
Yeah.
How long has he been in? Do we know? Because why haven't you done anything about it before until they reached the boiling point?
Thing is, what can he do?
He's a city mayor.
Yeah.
He's not able to change the EU's.
I'm the mayor of the
Very true.
tiniest island in all of Italy. What are my options?
So I think that Ireland is probably voting about 100% neo-fascism for the last 10 years.
What's the?
For some reason.
This is something that we discussed in our contemplations on organised crime. Not only is the UK number one in Europe for crimes committed by foreigners, but as lawlessness increases, what's the likelihood you're going to see of organised crime protection rackets protecting businesses and turfing people out, like the Yakuza do to Nigerian drug gangs in Japan? If it's ever going to happen somewhere, probably be Italy. I wouldn't be shocked if you see the mafia step in on
I
something.
just love how stereotypically Italian this guy is. I mean, literally, I don't need to know what he's saying to understand what he's saying.
Baba the Boopy, send the boats back.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, yeah.
I want the British tourists. I want the fishing. I want to lie to the EU about my quotas. That's all we want to do.
Every Italian man is Giuliano De Campo.
But it's
But that is really what he's saying, isn't it?
what does an Italian small place want to be? It wants to be a place where rich Western Europeans come and spend their money.
Yeah.
And
Because we're the best kind of tourists.
yeah, and they can abuse their fishing quotas and then lie about it to the central government. That's what they want to do. But then for no reason at all, the mafia are going to turn back up by the looks of it. And this is a story in and of itself, but this has been going on, as I said, for a decade. It just was a weird blip that for some reason, a lot of American accounts.
No, it's because it was very obvious because literally you could see like 10,000 Africans and you knew that was more than the island's entire population. And they're all standing in one place being like, give us money. So,
It's like the Costa Concordia crashing every day.
yeah.
And you've now got an unbelievable new population to deal with. Anyway, but that's not the big thing that was interesting for me. The best thing for me, and the thing that brought around the eternal European thing into my mind, was this dude. As you can see here, pronouns in the bio. Don't need to read anything else, but there are obviously red flags, literally, in this chap's case.
Yeah.
And he's reviewing the European subreddit.
I love it. Even the most progressive European subreddit is filled with Hitlerites. And immigrants are mentioned.
Should we mention? So we see how these
Yeah, go on. Let's see these Hitlerites.
Deutschland, über alles Europeans are being Hitlerites. People listening, someone in the Europe subreddit started to post a meme where they say, this is insane, 7,000 people is the population of a small town, and that's arriving every 24 hours.
7,000 people is literally the native population of the island.
It's smaller than that.
Yeah.
With a man pointing at a board with, we are effed, and a little Italian flagged. And this guy was like, well, friggin' Hitlerites at it again. Am I right?
Average Nazi.
7,000 people in boats off your coast invading your island. That's
Every
akin,
day.
to an armada. That's
Yeah, I mean,
that's like ancient battle numbers.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be understated.
There is a funny duality to the pro-EU types. And now in the United Kingdom, we've had the EU debate. And I think in our case, it's been pretty easy to categorize people because there's such large crossover between like weird middle-class, creepy progressives who are all pro-EU and unbearable. Give it a minute.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to, okay. I wanted to read those extra ones.
Oh, don't worry, we will. They're good fun. So
Go on.
stay tuned. But in the UK, we've had this sort of patriotic side, and then the weird like internationalist types, and they're very like sandal wearing vegans. But for the European
Russell Brand types,
for the European continent, especially Deutschland, there's this much bigger divide where you obviously get the people who are pro EU for a different reason, and their reason is, of course, to be I want the European superstate now.
Germany by any other means, as Pete Hitchens once said, yeah.
Yeah, and they're not Hitlerites, obviously. They just are a new kind of European, which naturally is the English we distrust and want nothing to do with. But this is what comes out in the European subreddit, because of course you get the Mama Merkel type EU Europeans who are like, wir schaffen das, yes, takes the whole world and nothing will go wrong. And then you get the other types, which are like this, and there is the point to close the borders.
Now that was long past.
Plus, it's literally all men of military age. Those need to get deported back to their own countries because this isn't sustainable.
Very reasonable.
Yeah, fair points. We need the European fortress, says the German.
Maybe not.
I love the German takes it way too far.
Yeah, these other users, there's no flag to their name. Just to point that out.
Normal.
Kind of English names, I don't know. Butterscotch over there.
Man the castle's German.
Deutschland joins the chat. We need the European fortress. The situation is already beyond buggered over here. Over 3.5 million in Germany alone. Most unemployed, sucking our welfare system dry.
You know what he's saying? Look what he's saying. International socialism has failed. We need a different kind of socialism.
But the thing is, of course, like I don't find myself disagreeing. But
he's not wrong.
But you would never get this sort of talk from the UK English European types. No matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets, they're still voting Green Party, being like, yes, more, destroy the place. Wir schaffen das. There's one more here. Deport them all to where?
Nowhere else exists.
Back to where they came from. No person should be allowed to illegally come into our borders.
To where? To where? As if we're the only place on Earth that even exists. Everything else outside of Europe is a barren hell.
But they do think of these
where
people,
human life is not possible.
They do think of these people as if they materialize out of an ether.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But they do
really
deport them, as I mentioned, every single day for the last 10 years from Lampedusa to Germany.
They just phone up.
Well, no wonder the Germans are like, international socialism doesn't work.
I thought they just phoned up the Clockwork Elves and said, take it back.
Yeah.
So this whole concept of like, well, where we deport them to? Well, obviously Berlin. Where else? Nowhere else to live. I can't get over how bad Berlin is as well. Just a whole other conversation.
And that was years ago that we went there.
But it got worse. Like I'd been there before. Me and Carl went. I think what year did we go? 2020. It was after the COVID pandemic had died for a month, and then we were allowed
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It probably was 2020.
to move in, and you could see the damage that the 2016 thing had done. But I had some context of before, and trust me, like every year that is going as bad as Swindon is going every year at this point. But we'll check some more Hitlerite, shall we? Because this guy, I just love that this guy's sincere, and leftists are leftists, but this is funny. They say here, then send them back where the boat came from, most likely Libya. Oh, really? I had no idea. What happens after that is simply not our responsibility. So just
I love that his reply to this is, I am Adolf Hitler. Like, as if,
From Epic Rap Battles of History as well, which shows you all his understanding of history.
that is, if, like, this, it's not the thesis of Hitler.
So this guy goes, so just push them back. What? So murder them? You just want them to be murdered? And he just goes,
Again.
yes.
But again, human life is just not possible outside of Europe. You've got to understand. So they set one foot on Libya and just burst into flames.
I mean, this guy is correct here. He says it's not our responsibility.
Yeah.
You call it murder if you want, but if they sink in the water, that's them being stupid. Don't go on a shifty raft.
Yeah, but this is what Victoria Derbyshire found out when she interviewed one, where he was like from Ghana or something, and she was like, "Oh, why did you risk your life going across the way?" He's like, "I'm money. I want to make my dream come true." And she's like, "Yeah, but isn't that dangerous?" He's like, "Nah." And it's like, you're not a 25-year-old African man. You don't understand. You as a 55-year-old woman don't understand men's propensity for risk taking.
Well, a little
Risk
while ago,
reward from women.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, but it is a real thing.
They don't understand.
a little while ago, you did a segment on the France 24 guy that I spoke to, this random Afghan who was sitting in a Calais migrant camp, and he was complaining that he was not granted a visa to come over to COP26 to photograph a little Amal, the big papier-mâché Syrian refugee thing. And it's just like, you're not entitled to it. And he was like, they're racist. They don't give me the visa. And it's like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why should they give the visa? Because I want it. That was his real argument.
Yeah,
it was just like, okay, I want to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Gib.
I'd like your shoes, actually. You're a racist.
It's just something else. One thing I did want to mention, though, where this guy's like, what? Send them back to Libya. Any of those men were Libyan? Did anyone know any of them were Libyan? Because I didn't.
No.
They might have escaped the open air slave markets that were set up after Hillary Clinton ruined the place.
Yeah, they've certainly been through Libya.
Yeah. Thanks, NATO, for this. I mean, that is a whole other conversation, but I do love in living memory, we can all just say, as Dan correctly, I think, said on Twitter, which is just, yes, NATO did this.
And the thing is as well, like, again, I'm watching Aaron Bastani argue with people on Twitter about Gaddafi. It's being like, well, there weren't open air slave markets in Libya when Gaddafi was in charge. I realize that this is pro-Gaddafi propaganda.
This is reaching like Zimbabwean levels of like, we didn't realize. And everyone went, no, we did.
Yeah,
we knew it was going to happen.
Exactly. But it's so mad how the left is like, look, you've got to accept the Libyan open air slave markets and completely failed country, or else you're a Gaddafi sympathizer. Okay. You've got to
accept Zimbabwe starving to death, or you're racist.
It's mental.
You want the right white race to win. It's like, you go and interview the Zimbabweans, and that's what they want. So I don't know what to say.
I'll give you 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollars to F off, Like, just shut up.
Well, we've been over this. I mean, I think we went through one of the other ones there with the South Africans, where it's like, when you go and ask them, like the black guys, I mean, I'm just saying, go and ask the Libyans, what do they want? Gaddafi back. They preferred the oppressive state. And when you go and ask the Zimbabweans, I love that, wasn't there a meme once we read where there was an article, there was two guys being interviewed, and it was one white guy who had been to Zimbabwe who was like, oh, it's a paradise of new anti-colonialist thinking and blah, blah, blah. And then they interviewed a local black man, and his headline was, get me out of this hellhole.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, let's enjoy some more European talk, shall we?
Well, before we go on, Visegrad 24, I saw a thing. I didn't realize you were going to cover this because I would have sent it to you. Apparently, a bunch of journalists went down and interviewed these refugees. They're like, why are you here? And they were like, well, in Burkina Faso, they were broadcasting how much money France gives you in benefits. Yeah,
That is correct. I saw that.
Yeah, and so we got on a boat and we came over. And Victoria Derbyshire's just like, what the hell does this mean? So you're fleeing from climate change? Like
the numbers, Mason.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, but that's the point. They're just someone is telling them, and of course, this the journalists are like, well, is this Russian propaganda? Maybe who knows? Maybe it is.
It's funny you bring up the climate change BS, where it's like, yeah, climate change did this, because I did go and check out the thread.
Oh yeah,
and the top comment, and with climate change, this is going to get worse. Not the number of refugees who are getting money and then that's being broadcast on Burkina Faso TV. No, the trees of Africa are getting too hot. I mean, that's the double-edged sword to the eternal European. There are, of course, two types.
Why aren't we getting loads of refugees from Greece?
Who knows? Who knows?
Weird that.
Anyway, Stelios. No, but we'll go through some more of this just real quick. Someone says, send them back. I don't effing care anymore. Again, you wouldn't get this from the pro-types in the UK. Like most of us, send them back or sink them. Make an example. If they come back, they will come back or be dead. See how long it takes for them to understand. This would solve the problem. I'm not actually opposed to this policy personally. I'm just saying.
Occupy land and build cities living in their own country. Bring back colonialism.
This is the best one.
From the pro-EU subreddit.
So someone said, like, what are they going to do? Start sinking the boats. And this chap says, occupy the land, build cities for them to live in their own countries, introduce industry so they can be self-sufficient. If their government can't take control of them, then Europe has to. They will be living under a European rule either way. Whether they immigrate here or we build the cities for them there. So
that's very interesting, because I've been reliably told that the black people invented everything, we stole it all. So why don't they have those really well?
To be fair, they'll just be having black rulership from Europe, won't they? I mean, we're all black, really.
Yeah,
I don't know who says
Cheddar Man ruling over Burkina Faso.
It's the descendants of Cheddar Man, who I'm reliably informed was a sub-Saharan African. So what's your complaint?
Our progressive unions of peace, home, healthcare, the finest food, liberalist ideas, and all the immigrants will live. It's like, that's not Hitlerite. That's, well, actually used to be the socialist position.
Yeah.
In the old times, I'm told. But yeah.
Again, just international socialism has failed. We need another solution.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's just roasting this dude, obviously. But the thing is real. Where you get the two-sided European and Europe, which is you get the green type weirdos that we have, and then you get the ones that are like, sink the boats, because they'll learn the lesson.
Yeah, but what this is the people who are still embroiled in their kind of high-flying liberal ideals and have not yet been touched by what those ideals bring about. And then the other side who are like, no, this is real. These are real problems.
Like, we're all leftists. It's like, yes, and now you've discovered the problem.
Yeah.
You've caused.
You've seen one too many cats barbecued in the open street.
It's been going on for 10 years. How are you surprised? These people.
But Callum,
again,
what you failed to account for, it's Reddit.
Yeah.
But also, it's just people who are too divorced from the problem. Those people who feel the problem encroaching upon them physically. You end up like the mayor of the island. I can't remember the name of the island. But it's like, no, every single one of them has to go,
I love just all three of these. That's the trifecta bingo for progressives thinking why this is happening.
Yeah, they're broadcasting on TV and radio that you're giving away free money. That's why they're coming.
This is why the far right's reaction is so stupid. No, sorry. The immigration is the symptom of humanity's diseases.
Oh my God.
Oh no, we're getting a bit too close to the Hitlerite stuff again. I'm leaving. Anyway.
If that's the case, why don't they go to the east?
Yeah.
Why don't they go to Arabia, to China,
Serbia,
to Russia?
None of them stay there.
No, they only go to Western Europe.
Because give me the money. But I mean, this is the European's natural habitat. I just have this meme here just to make that point. We have a beaver here who has never met another beaver but still builds dams. And the Europeans will do the European thing. But I do love just that other point.
That is adorable.
I think his name's Justin. I've seen this on the dodo.
Oh, look at him. He's so
I'm
cute.
sleep deprived.
Is this what you want me to do in the future?
Yeah, this is a much more appealing thing to watch.
Well, anyway, we have that on screen as I give you some blackmails, which is...
No, I want this to be our border policy.
Yeah.
Thank you, European beaver. You are saving the world. One stuffed toy at a time to dam the Mediterranean. Anyway, but there's a YouTube channel. I forget the name of the guy now, which is bad form on me, but it's like Monsieur Z or something Z. And he's an American. And I love him so much because he's got such an accurate mindset about how migration works, how immigrants work.
I just love this beaver so much. It's so cute.
I've got to take this off screen, have I?
Maybe, because it's really adorable. Look at it.
To the audio listeners, this sounds like an innuendo.
No, it's like he's
Segment's just beaver cam now.
yeah. Look, he's piling stuff up because he doesn't want. He wants to stop the water from brushing all away. It's so cute. He's doing something. Sorry, Karen.
No, I'm ending the segment there. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Brokenomics series, this one on the economics of empire with AA. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.